that Israel is out of time. We are going to talk about why they're out of time and what is actually going on and how to fix the problem. We are going to talk about, if we have the time, actually we'll make time for it, the fact that Saudi Arabia has officially rejected the notion of a two-state solution being necessary in order to enter into normalization. Yes, that is right. Saudi Arabia has rejected the notion that there is a two-state solution that must happen prior to normalization. By the way, let me make this very clear. This is a very, very important point to bring out, and that is the fact that I told you so. We told you so. We saw it coming. We knew it was going to happen. I'm going to make a video on this. You guys will see more info on this next week, but we're going to talk about it today. And then if we have time, we will also talk about the positioning of Mahmoud Abbas, who is the Palestinian Authority clown. We will talk about him and what's going on with his puppet VP and some of the changes that are about to be ensued that are going to make a substantial difference because of this devil by the name of Macron in France.
Well, he's not the only one. The British are there. Hi, you guys.
Yeah, well, the Brits, look, I have lots to say about the Brits and what's going on there. There's a lot of hypocrisy and foolishness there. They are the king of free speech, oppression, and suppression. They are becoming the rising stars in that arena, and that involves completely changing the Israeli narrative.
Okay, one of the things I do want to go into a little bit is what is a two-state solution. Let's talk a little bit about what a two-state solution is, what it means when they say that they are going to recognize the Palestinian state.
Can I solve the problem?
Yeah.
A two-state solution is delusional.
Okay.
That's all you need to know. It's delusion. It's the two-state delusion. But we will talk about it.
Yeah, let's go into it. And again, I would even say if we can pull up a map of Israel and
we can do that.
talk about how that's going to kind of work out, because, again, it's one thing to talk about things on the internet and say things on YouTube and say, and be very, very knowledgeable. And it's another thing when you have to throw the reality into it and kind of relate to how that works and how that's going to work. So maybe there is something that we can go into a little bit there.
We can definitely do that. And then if we have the time, because this will also become another important conversation to have, we are going to talk about a few other, I don't know if I would call them auxiliary issues. I don't think they're really auxiliary. But we will have to have a conversation. Matter of fact, we'll probably integrate it in our first topic. We'll talk about the hunger issue.
Yep.
The lies that are going on there. But the other thing that I want to talk about, and this is only if we have the time to be able to tackle it, because right now there are so many other peripheral issues. But if we have the time, we are going to talk about the lies that should start popping up shortly about people who set the date for the upcoming rapture.
Okay.
And I want to point this out.
Wow.
Because there are people who 2 years ago said the rapture would happen by September the 23rd. You had another guy who, by the way, was growing in popularity, still might be somewhat popular, who told the whole world that the rapture would happen by September the 19th based on a terrible, terrible attempt at biblical exegetical commentary
this September 19th?
Last year.
Okay.
Related to the bright and morning star. And once people make those types of predictions, they should not be listened to again. They have demonstrated themselves to be false teachers, and they create these problems. And I'm telling you, we've had a long history within Calvary chapels of making predictions that were never came. Even Pastor Chuck at one point said that the rapture would happen, I think, before 1981, and then he said before 1988, and he based that on some doctrine that was broken related to the generation after the nation of Israel. By the way, for the record, Chuck Smith, probably one of the greatest Bible teachers that ever lived, and he even still made that kind of mistake. Yep. The good news about Chuck was that he admitted it and moved on. My point is, if we have time, we'll talk a little bit about these false claims that are being made, and we've got more of them coming right now.
So I think, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the hunger issue is the first one to tackle. Two-state solution is next, and then we go into that a little
Yeah.
bit deeper.
Look, all of this, the hunger issue that we're going to talk about, all of it relates to the main reason why this video was named the way that it was named, and that is the fact that Israel has to act immediately. I was triggered. Okay, I'm just going to put it that way, and I saved my emotion until me and you got together. I was triggered by the IDF chief acting exactly like his predecessor and being the clown that he is. I'm sorry, I'm mad, okay? And basically making this statement to, in a security meeting, of all meetings, making a statement that says, okay, if you want us to aggressively go into Gaza, then that means we basically are going to be killing more hostages. First of all, where the heck does he get that notion? Second of all, how many IDF soldiers have to be lost until you say we're going to have to chum up and go in there? How many IDF soldiers have to be killed? Do you know how many we've lost? We're going to be approaching 2,000 soon. The number is going to get that high.
You mean including the 7th of October?
Beyond that,
No.
I think we're going to end up losing.
We're at about 800 soldiers since the beginning of the war.
I'm telling you right now, we are going to double that number. We are going to double that number if we keep doing what we're doing in Gaza.
Well, first of all, I'm not sure about that, but I want to back up a little bit and explain to people who don't really get the situation.
Okay, wait, before
what
you
is
do,
going on really in Gaza right now.
Before you do, can I ask you this?
Yep.
I just want to know how you're not sure about that, because let's just talk about this for a second. Israel right now, under the leadership of the IDF chief, is basically saying we're drawing circles around where we believe the hostages are, and we're making them safe zones.
Yep.
And every single time an IDF soldier gets anywhere near those areas, they're supposed to take fire and not respond back. How are we not going to double the number doing that?
I don't think it's going to double. We might lose more soldiers, but I don't think we're going to double. And I don't think Israel's going to last or not keep on going this far. We lost almost 800 soldiers in the almost two years that we've been in this battle. And it's been piece by piece. By the way, it turns out that a large majority of them were blue-on-blue events. I don't know if you know what that means.
Yeah, I do know.
Blue on blue is when we make a mistake. There were 2 soldiers that were killed the other day because an explosive device that they were preparing to be used blew up and killed them. Or we make mistakes on shooting our own people. That's blue on blue situations and combat situations.
But I would not care. Honestly, I'm going to say this is harsh.
Doesn't
right?
matter if they die like that.
I would not characterize them as blue on blue, because if you really want to characterize it the way that it's supposed to be characterized, I would venture to say that 9 out of 10 times where we had what they called a blue on blue situation, it was created as a result of them trying to minimize casualties.
Okay. Again, when you put somebody into a very complex combat situation where the amount of things, I mean, the easiest thing to do, let's say I'm a tank commander, it's easiest. The easiest thing for me to do is to blow everything up. Everything in your way, just blow it up. Now, then you start putting in complexities. You can't blow up this, you need this, you do this, and this. So, but the simple situation is put your men on this side, the other men on the other side, and just shoot forward. It becomes complex when you have to move in, you have to move underground, you have to move under. So the complexity of the battlefield, and this is the most complex battlefield that any army has ever had to deal with, including Iwo Jima. I was going back into how the Americans defeated remember what the Japanese did in Iwo Jima.
I get
and things like that.
I get it.
It's the most complex situation, and the more complex, the more chances there are for mistakes. I don't know if you remember, but there was a mistake a little while ago when 8 guys were killed in an APC.
Oh, yeah?
It wasn't a blue and blue, but somebody left the back door of the APC open, and he managed to throw a hand grenade in there. I mean, that's a mistake, but that cost the lives. So the more you put pressure on the people, the more that they're working hard, the more chances of mistakes on blue and blue events. So what I'm trying to say is and then add on, you can't really open fire on that building because that building might have the people that that might have hostages in it. And it makes it just much, much more complicated. But I will say this, Israel is dealing with this. But, and I think I want to put it here on the table, I don't think that Hamas wants an agreement. I don't think Hamas wants any
Hamas
kind
never
of
wanted an agreement,
so,
David.
So everything that we're talking about now, okay, I don't think Hamas can accept an agreement. In the past, I thought we could pressure Hamas into some kind of temporary agreement. I think we've reached the edge of the temporary, and now it's down to the what do you call it, the final line. And
the only acceptable solution, this is my opinion, and I'm telling you right now, I don't think I'm wrong. This is absolutely a David Ben-Gurion. This is, look, let me just say this. This is, David, this is a Ben-Gurion issue.
Oh, Ben-Gurion saw this way back in the beginning.
You know what Ben-Gurion said? You know this. You lived by this. Ben-Gurion's whole philosophy was, you get them in quickly, you fight the war decisively, powerfully, and you do it on enemy territory.
Yep.
That was the rule. Okay? In 1956, how many days did it take us to get a hold of Gaza?
Oh, I think we conquered
like
Gaza.
6 days, 5 days?
No less. I mean, it was 3 days. We conquered
3 days.
I think we conquered all of the half of the Sinai. We conquered in a week.
I mean,
including Gaza.
My point is, I think we need to have the Ben-Gurion attitude here, and I think what needs to happen is we need to go in. We need to completely destroy Hamas. We need to recognize those hostages are dead anyway. This is a sad thing to say. They're going to die anyway. How many IDF soldiers are worth being lost?
Again, me and Chrissy literally had this discussion over breakfast this morning, okay? And Chrissy is exactly on the place that you are on. I mean, just do that. I still choke on it a little bit because, one, what do you say to the parents? And two,
what do you say to the parents of the IDF soldiers that are being killed indiscriminately?
There is a difference.
Because of stupidity of leadership.
There is a difference, and I'm going to say this. Part of what happens, I mean, if we stop the war right now and walk out, let's say, just stop the war and walk out, and we take in consideration we lose the 20 hostages, or we do the opposite. If we desolate Gaza, make it into glass. I think somebody said it once way in the back. You know, just totally level down Gaza, and we lose the 20 hostages. One of the things I want to say to people that really, as an Israeli maybe, it's not just the life of the hostages. I mean, we lose 20 people in traffic accidents. We lost 40 people in a fire once on the Carmel. I don't know if you remember that. It's not just the life. There's something else that would be broken if we just let those hostages go, and on both sides of the fence. On the Israeli side is we allow our people to die. We've accepted that the life of our people, that at some point there's a price, that the life of the people is not as valuable as what we will lose in order for them to live. Classic example is the Hannibal initiative, directive. I don't know if you remember that, which basically says if I see a person being taken hostages, the damage to the state of Israel of him being a hostage is more than the damage of the state of Israel of him being dead. That's a military dynamic, if you understand what I said. So put a round into the car with a hostage inside. That way we know he is dead. I've said that to myself. I don't know if I've said to you, I carry another hand grenade in my webbing.
No, we've talked about this multiple times.
Okay, so the idea is that the damage of the hostages, because look at what's happening, is worse than the damage of a casualty, if I can actually say it like that. That's one thing, but it's a difference when it's a civilian. There is a pact, an agreement, call it what you want, that the state of Israel says we are here and we are willing even to put our soldiers on the line in order for civilians not to die.
But David, you know this and I know this, and this is where your argument breaks apart in pieces. You know this and I know this. Hamas will not negotiate. Hamas The only reason why Hamas is using those soldiers, the only reason why are using those hostages is for leverage. And it's leverage that it's basically them at this point shielding themselves. Look, I talked to somebody about this the other day. They said, well, James, what about the story of the 6 hostages that got killed by Yahya Sinwar when the IDF got close to them? That has nothing to do with the IDF getting close to them. That has everything to do with that animal surfaced. He went above ground and he wanted to move faster than he was moving. He saw the IDF coming, and the people around him, the hostages that he was holding, was too much of a weight, and he executed them. That's exactly what happened. And we know that. Israel knows that. So why aren't we going in, and why aren't we just fighting? We know where these hostages are. Let's go in there and fight. I'm telling you, I know, because of these scoundrels, these barbarians know that the remaining hostages is all they have left. It's their only leverage. And I can tell you the way the Islamic mindset is.
Oh, no.
I can tell you, if their intent was to kill the Jews at this point in this context, they would have done it a long time ago. Their intent right now is to use them to accentuate another purpose, and
the longer this takes, the more damage is done to the state of Israel. We're seeing what's going on.
Not only that, but beyond that, some of the people that are holding these hostages don't have the sophistication to understand the nominative directive that was given initially by people like Sinwar. These are people that are doing it because right now they're looking for the tool or for the way to survive.
By the way, I want to repeat something. I think we've said this. Hostage taking is an Arab tactic that has been used down through history.
It's always been.
Always. I mean, the Arabs would take hostages coming back from the Crusades, and that's, 1,000 years ago?
100%.
And they would use the hostages for political reasons and economic reasons. It is a normal... By the way, hostage taking among Arabs, it doesn't happen as much because an Arab will not get a return on his hostage, meaning... if one tribe takes a hostage from the other tribe, the tribe's going to say, kill him. I mean, I'm not going to pay you for that.
Yep.
And we will deal with you killing the hostage. I mean, that's the thing. Which brings me to the point I want to make here. And one of the things that I need people to maybe understand, because we have a Western mindset. And in our Western mindset, we believe that everybody is a rational, reasonable, ethical, moral player, even though we have difference of opinion. So I can not agree with you, James, and we've done this many times.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And we don't agree with each other, but I agree or accept that you are a rational player in this.
Yeah.
But how do you deal with somebody who is not a rational player? And Western mindset, the world as we know it, doesn't know how to deal with that. I mean, it can't be that they just want to kill Jews. It can't be that they just want to destroy. It is a tactic in a bigger picture. No, we're seeing today, at the end of this war, we're seeing what happened with Iran, that yes, they just want to kill Jews. And we have to regard that. So the Western part says, wait a minute. We cannot impact, we cannot make anything, we cannot do anything that will make Hamas change its dealings. But we can impact the Israeli side. We can impact this side. It's like a hostage negotiation. It's like a hostage situation. What I'm trying to say is again and again and again. What's happening in Gaza is not a war. It is a hostage situation. It's a ransom situation. Somebody has taken hostages and is using them and is using the civilian people. It's using the people, its own people, as part of it. A bank robber goes into a bank to rob a bank. And the bank robbery goes wrong, and now he has all of the workers of the bank inside. But he's also got his own family that's with him inside. But he will not give up because he says, I have these people here to defend me. I have these people here to make sure that I'm not going to be taken out. And he puts them on the window so the police sniper will have to shoot through him in order through them to shoot him. And the question is, who's to blame for this? Is the police to blame? Or is he to blame for putting his children on the window to make sure the sniper doesn't shoot him? And here's the thing. We can't blame him my Western mindset, I can't blame him because he's the bad guy, and we expect the bad guy to be a bad guy. The only thing I can blame is the police sniper or the policeman or the police chief who has to make a decision: are we going in to save these people, and how we do this? And here's a question I asked Christian. I'm not sure I have a good answer for that. Has there any been a hostage situation where the perpetrators got away?
Oh, sure. There have been many of them.
Where the perpetrators of a hostage situation.
Yeah, in the moment, yes. Yeah, this happens a lot, and then they end up getting captured later.
Where? I mean, do they manage
It's a common law enforcement tactic where in the name of releasing hostages, they'll in essence let somebody go for a little while they follow them or whatever, and then they end up getting them. But in this situation, no. And the problem is you're dealing with all-out war. You're dealing with an objective. And quite frankly, I think that Israel is running out of time. And what Israel needs to do right off the bat is they need to follow the Ben-Gurion doctrine. They need to go in. They need to quickly and decisively finish off all the remaining contingencies in Gaza. I don't care if you've got to flood out those tunnels. It doesn't matter what has to happen. They've got to get in and they've got to do it. I think they have to take and occupy every portion of Gaza, and I think Israel should own the northern part of Gaza.
Agreed.
They should own they should literally bring back Jewish settlers to live in northern Gaza to communicate this. We're never going to let you get away with this. It's never going to happen again. You do this on our territory, we will take the land back, we will bring our people back there, and we'll kick you the heck out of this country. Why? Because this is going to happen again, David.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to happen in Judea, Samaria. It's going to happen.
It's going to happen all over the place.
But it's going to happen in Judea, Samaria.
But I want to zoom on the point we are. Have you ever been in hostage negotiations? And at some point, I don't know, we used to call it the tipping point.
I negotiated as a chaplain.
There's a tipping point where you say, okay, we've got nothing to lose. We're going to break in. We're going to send the SWAT team in.
Yeah.
You hold the SWAT team back because there's hostages there, and you don't want to threaten their life. You don't want what you're doing to threaten their life. But at some point, you say, I can't. What is the tipping point where a police chief will say, SWAT team go in even though there's a threat to the life?
When I first became a police chaplain, one of the reasons why I got a helmet given to me by the guys was because I did things like this. I initiated conversations with people. I'm going to make myself very, very clear. After Columbine, because I think this is an important thing to note, after Columbine happened, okay, a lot of the negotiating that we used to do in law enforcement doesn't happen anymore.
Yep.
Now everything is treated as an active situation, hostage or not. You've got to go in and you've got to deal with it because you know there is going to be a problem. You cannot negotiate with somebody when there is active, aggressive shooting happening. And the problem with what's going on with these hostages is when they were first taken, active, aggressive killing was going on and it hasn't stopped. And at this point, the West is learning this in a very hard way. The President of the United States is at his wit's end. He's learned this. He said, I'm the president of peace, but you know what? I'm done with Hamas.
And he, by the way, he's got a problem. He's not going to be able to negotiate a deal out of this. I mean, he's not going to be
There is no negotiating with them.
So here's the thing. We're at a point where you can't reach an agreement with the hostage takers, and you've got to send the SWAT team in. And I think me and you are both in an agreement right now that it's time for the SWAT team to
100%.
And again, you're hoping that they're going to be able to do it quick enough with surprise, use flashbangs, but you are taking in consideration a threat to the hostages that are being actually used as shields. And I think we both agree that that is a situation where we are right now.
You've got 20 hostages that are alive. You maybe have a chance of recovering half of them alive if you go in and take them. Okay? I promise you, David, I promise you, you have a 5% chance that you get even 5 of them or 2 of them alive if you let Hamas do what Hamas is going to do. The spirit of Ben-Gurion needs to fall upon every single one of these people in this coalition. And in my
I think
opinion,
Bibi's there.
no, Bibi's always been there.
But I don't understand how other people are not there. I think we've all, even I've, I'm way on that side. Even I'm there. But here's the thing: what's going to happen if we do? Let's say we do. Let's say
David,
our opinion.
can I give you a harsh? Can I give you a harsh analysis on this?
Wait a minute before we go on to the harsh analysis.
Because I'm going to answer your question.
What I'm trying to say is this: we don't only take into consideration the damage or the threat to the hostages, we take into consideration the fallout, both the financial, the political fallout that will result of that, and their feeling is that there will be a fallout.
I have news for you. I have news for you. They're going to hate you no matter what.
Yep.
The world is going to hate Israel no matter what, and it's only going to increase. So my thinking is this. Yeah, let me tell you a story when I was a kid. Okay? No, this is valid.
Okay,
This is a valid point.
I have a story about my kid, but
Okay.
I wouldn't. But by the way, before we go too far, I want to say I totally agree with you.
Yeah,
I totally agree that Israel is a point where we don't have anything to lose.
there's no time. And look, here this is my point, okay? When I was a kid, my sister had this nasty habit. And let me tell you something. It was a nasty habit.
This is him talking about you, not me.
Yeah,
okay.
I know. My sister will not be happy that I'm sharing this story. But she used to do this thing to me that I hated it, okay? And this is what would happen. We would get into an argument. Now, mind you, in all fairness, I was cruel to my sister, okay? I was not nice to my sister. All right? Now, when I say that, meaning when we fought, we fought. We were always close. We still are very close. We've always been close, which is why I'm going to get an earful when I tell this story, okay? But here's the issue, okay? Watch this. Think about this. This is very, very important. When my sister would get so mad that she did not want to talk anymore, she didn't want to deal with me, but she knew I had the upper hand because she was a girl. I'm a boy. I got brute strength in front of me. I'm louder. I'm more aggressive. I'm certainly more deviant than she ever would have been. Okay?
And I'm sitting next to him right now.
She would do this thing where she would pretend as though I had just hit her. And she would start crying. She would start crying, and my dad would hear her crying. And my dad, of course, being daddy's, she being daddy's little girl, my dad would say, "What happened? What happened?" And then she would, in the most powerful, convincing way, tell my father that I assaulted her.
Yeah. James hit me. Yeah,
So,
I've seen that.
Me and her are having a nice argument at the top of the stairs one day. I'm not kidding. We're having a nice argument at the top of the stairs one day. Now, mind you, we're little kids. And my little sister, in the middle of the argument, has this smile on her face with these deviant eyes while she's looking at me. And she grabs herself right in the chest, just like this, and starts crying while she's smiling. And I know what she's going to do. She's going to tell my dad that I hit her right in the chest. So I hear my dad coming up the stairs. My dad is coming up, and I know what's happening. He's taking off his belt while he's coming up the stairs. I already know what's going to happen. I know that there's not going to be any questions. I'm going to get it. And I knew it. So you know what I did? I said, you know what? I'm going to get it anyway. So I'm going to sock her as hard as I can in the chest. And listen, I did. And you know what? My sister never did that to me again.
Yep.
Israel right now
is in that place.
Is hearing the crying people lying about what's happening. They're starving us. They're this or that. Great. You know what? Get in there. Get them the heck out. Clear the place out. They're going to be mad at you over Gaza, whether it's 5 years or whether it's 5 days.
I'm going to even go more. Some of them are actually going to publicly say we want a two-state solution as a result of this.
That's right. That's right.
But they're going to say it anyway.
Go in there and destroy it. The innocent people who want nothing to do with it, who are being held at gunpoint by Hamas, will love you for it. And the reality of it is, the world is going to hate the Jews anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick and tired of watching the Dave Smiths of the world or the Candace Owens, or the Candace Owens is more of a grifter. She's just an outright liar. But of all these people who are supposedly self-proclaimed subject matter experts, who talk about the corruption of Bibi Netanyahu, but cannot even name a single party outside of the Likud.
I put up a YouTube video night before last, about the blood libel. And I'm going to line it up a little bit just so you get an understanding. In 1144, a little kid, 12-year-old kid, was killed in a very gruesome manner in a place called Norwich in England.
Yeah, Candace Owens continues to lie about this story.
Okay, but here exactly. And again, that's what happened. 4 years later, his uncle, who had a political agenda, said that the Jews did it, and there's an argument whether they did it in order to get his blood for the matzahs and Passover, or they did it in order to reenact the crucifixion. Doesn't matter. And basically, Jews were slaughtered all through Europe because the idea so took force that at some point, and again, I was reading about it the other day, and what happens is you see again and again people saying this all through Europe. But everybody knows that. But everybody knows that the Jews are this. But everybody knows that the Jews are that. But everybody knows. And then I go to YouTube and it comes down my feed, and Piers Morgan. But everybody knows that there's a starvation in Gaza. And other people. But everybody knows. The everybody knows is the speech of the devil.
Yep.
It is the everybody knows. And that happened in 1144 in England. Everybody knows, and people killed God's people as a result of that. And I'm hearing that everybody knows. Everybody knows that Israel is committing genocide. Everybody, you don't even have, everybody knows that. That is devil speak. And I want to prepare, or want to stress this for other people listening to us. When somebody says, but everybody knows, be careful. Be wary. This is fork-tongued devil speech actually out in the open.
Well, come on. Tucker Carlson did this. When he got up in front of everybody at the SAS, he said, everybody in Washington, everybody, everybody in Washington believes that that the Mossad has this big influence in government. And I'm trying to mock the man. I'm just saying, everybody, Tucker? Really? Everybody? Every single person? You know what kills me about all of this, David? You know what kills me? Every single one of these people that make these ridiculous assertions and say these crazy things will not, absolutely will not, by any stretch of the imagination, sit down and have a talk with real subject matter experts on the matter. They won't.
I want to remind also, and again, the everybody knows and the subject matter, we have a very particular tool that I like to say is a truth filter. When you want to know what everybody knows, and if you hold your Bible up and you pour what everybody knows, look at what comes out on the other side. Your Bible is an everybody knows filter. Your Bible is the difference between what everybody knows and what is true. And we're starting to forget that in a very, and I'm sorry to say, again, I'm going to be putting up an anti-Semitic 3-part miniseries, because there's 3 types of anti-Semitism that I see right now. There's 3 parts of dynamic that there's the worldwide, everybody knows that Israel is doing this, okay? There is the churches moving towards that everybody knows that Israel is the problem. And I'm going to say even more, there's the Jewish people that are starting to repeat the everybody knows Israel's a problem. And I want to address all 3 of them differently. But again, if you want to know what everybody knows is true or not, use your Bible. Please, please, please use your Bible.
Yeah, and listen, there's also a lot of really irresponsible statements being made. I watched a guy who's a very popular Christian commentator interviewing a young man that I actually know, Okay, and this young man, he's a sweet young man. He goes to Jack Hibbs's church. He has a YouTube channel that's growing very rapidly and doing well, and he is very pro-Israel. And so he gets, in the midst of their conversation, this popular Christian commentator makes the statement that the IDF is shady, it's shaky, because not just because of the fact that they're corrupt, but because of the fact that they're not an advanced military. That's what he said.
Huh.
He said that the IDF actually behaves or acts in a sloppy way, and we know that because, and he couldn't even cite the event. He cited a time when the IDF went to go rescue hostages and killed their own hostages. Okay?
It's happened.
Okay. How about we stop for one moment to talk about the fact that literally there is no military in the world that has faced more hostage situations than the Israeli Defense Force, and there is no military in the world that has acted as morally as the IDF to their own detriment.
Yep.
Should we start talking about Yoni? Should we start talking about what happened over there with Bibi's brother?
Should we talk about what the Germans did in Munich?
Oh, my goodness. Let's just talk about Munich for 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's that kind of dynamic, and I think we're reaching a point right now where, like you said, we've got nothing to lose. I mean, we're not gonna get the hostages back, I don't think, and we're not gonna get reputation back. We're not gonna get Jew support back. We're not gonna get back, and again, I want to say in this situation, where we are right now, and again, this is what Hamas's plan was all the way. And I gotta say, and maybe we need to talk about the fact that Hamas did succeed in perpetrating a terrible, terrible plan. But think about everything that we're talking about right now when the administration in Washington was a Biden or Harris administration and not a Trump administration. And I want to say again to the people in the United States and a lot of the people watching me, thank you for putting Donald J. Trump into the White House. I mean, this is, again, we know this was a godly event, but I'm just realizing how critical the fact that Trump is part of the administration and how terrible and horrific it would have been if we'd have had Kamala Harris running this show.
But look, you can do deeper analysis on this.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say, because Bibi did it. When Bibi did what he did, even with Nasrallah, he went out of his way to make sure that the Biden regime would not be notified. He didn't care. And you know what? I think that we've lost that. I think that this is why the Shin Bet is so egregious in my mind. This is why they're so evil in my mind. Because their belief was the same way as the rest of many of these arrogant thinkers in the IDF that said, we don't want to disturb the force when it comes to these people. It's been quiet. We don't want them to think that we're setting ourselves up to attack them by setting up a defensive position. Even though we have intelligence that we're vulnerable, we don't want to alarm these Arabs because things have been going good for 2 years. What in the world were you thinking?
They were thinking wrong, and they were thinking again. I mean, I have sat in front of Palestinian Arabs, and they have said to me, okay, don't you think that we love our children as much as you do? Don't you think that we want a better life? And looking at it today, no.
We installed in our house, a white picket fence all the way around our property. When we purchased the house, there was no wall between anywhere. One of the concerns that my wife had, just to show you the differences between us two, is, well, the property line that we're putting the fence on seems like it's going on their side. Yeah? I don't care, baby. It's our property line. Okay? Yeah, but don't you think the neighbors are going to feel like, you know, that we're separating ourselves from them? I said, I don't care. I said, we're putting up that wall. If the neighbors have a problem and they ask me, I can tell them, tough luck. I can do whatever I want with my property, and I've got kids to protect. Yeah, but aren't they going to be concerned that we're trying to put a wall between them? We are. And I don't talk to her that way, but you know what I mean? It's like my thought process, this is the difference between me and her. My thought process is, reality. I don't care what anybody thinks.
No, reality.
I'm going to do what I'm going to do with my property, and I'm going to maintain the safety of my children. Now my wife looks at it and says, I love this. She picked out the style of the fencing and all that because she had a vision for it. But you know what? Here's the thing. That's why I'm a covering to her. I think Israel, in the first 15 days of this whole thing, should have just completely blown them the heck up. They were going to hate on Israel anyway.
No, I would say this. We were wounded, though. We were seriously wounded.
I get it, David. I get it. But seriously wounded or not.
And so let's go back to what we're talking about right now. Israel should take off the gloves and go on completely. That's, I think, everybody, and I think most of Israel says, but again, there is a mentality that says, maybe we can reach, maybe we can do, maybe, and I'm at a point like you were with your sister, by the way, and I've got a story about Dolev, my son, about the same thing. At some point, when you're being blamed for it, it doesn't really matter. You don't have anything to lose, and I think Israel is slowly being pushed into this point. I'm seeing, by the way, friends, churches, right wing. Piers Morgan was pro-Israel in the beginning, but more and more people are the erosion and the younger generation is buying into
Morgan. All Piers Morgan wants is people to click on his show.
Exactly, but Tucker's the same.
Yep.
Candace is the same.
Same
but
thing.
No, my word, what I'm trying to say is this. Hatred of the Jews has become a political asset in the world that we live in today.
Yeah.
Look at what's happening in New York.
Yep.
What's his name?
Mandami.
Look at what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's actually saying, okay, I'm going to run on a platform of hatred of the Jews.
Yep, that's right. 100%.
And it's become
100%.
And let me make this clear to everybody who's listening to us. Okay? Hating the Jews, hating God's people, holding them up to a different kind of standard, holding them up to a morality that you don't hold up anybody to, hating them just because of who they are, has become a political asset in the world we live in today.
100%.
What does that mean for the spiritual situation of the world?
100%. 100%.
And where are we going with this?
Yeah. Look, I got asked recently, aren't you a little nervous every day when you put on this pin on your shirt and walk around with this? Like, aren't you a little nervous?
I am.
People ask me that question all the time. And you know my answer to that is, I don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because if I won't stand up for the Jews, then who will? And not only that, I want everybody to seriously ask this question. Do you love your children? Do you love your family? Do you care about your heritage? If you're a pastor, do you love the people in your church? If you do, then you will stand up. And you will not care about being photographed wearing this. You will not hesitate to stop people. I was in the hospital a few weeks ago, super late at night. It was almost midnight at this point.
Okay.
One of our kids, by the way, if you could think about it, Christian Smith, he had a heart replacement. He actually had a heart transplant. He'd been waiting for a long time for his heart. He got it. I was there. I saw a man. He looked like one of the actual Hasidic Jews. He had a bag, full of Hebrew writing. He had the locks coming down, the whole thing. I see him. You can tell he's staring at me a little bit, right? He doesn't know me. It's the middle of the night, whatever. I turn around to him. I say shalom. I go to hug him. He still is shocked. He has no idea, what in the world is happening. And then I tell him, look at this. This and this will never come off until the hostages are home, until Israel is safe. And he starts crying.
Yeah.
He doesn't even know me. He has no idea. Why? Because everywhere he goes, what's he hearing? Baby killer, animal, black, everything.
Genocider. Everybody knows. People stand up in the parliament in England. Everybody knows that Israel is committing genocide. I mean, everybody knows. And we're doing this more and more, which brings me to another thing that we have to decide that we're not going to be afraid of, and that is people saying, let's give them a state. Let's create a two-state
Give me
solution.
a break. You know what? There's no way that's going to happen. As a matter of fact, quite frankly, this is my belief when it comes to Ezekiel 38. I don't think the peace in Ezekiel 38 happens until Judea Samaria is annexed. I don't think the peace in Ezekiel 38 can happen until all of Gaza is completely annexed.
Do you want to explain the two-state solution, or do you want me to do that?
Yeah, go ahead. You can. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's a complete delusion. It's completely ridiculous.
Well, it was first time this two-state solution came up was in 1947.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think. Way
When they
back.
were seeing it.
So at the end of World War I, the area that's called Palestine, that including what we call today Israel and what we call today Jordan, was a big package that was handed over to the British at the end of World War I,
Yeah.
basically in the 1920s, and said, you guys are responsible for this. They took off 70% of that, all the parts that are on the other side of the Jordan River, gave it to the Jordanians because they had a debt of gratitude to the Husseini family. If you saw Lawrence of Arabia, you know what I'm talking about. And they said, okay, we'll create Jordan. And they left the part from the river to the sea, is what we hear again and again, as a British mandate, okay? The Arabs could not, they accepted the creation of the state of Jordan in part of Palestine. I mean, why didn't they argue that the Jordanians, by the way, the Husseini family are not Palestinians. They're from somewhere else. Okay, they took that, they gave that.
They claim to be Hashemites, but
okay. But the problem was never the fact that there would be an Arab state. The problem was always the fact that there would be a Jewish state.
Yep.
That the Jews would be living there. And in 1947, okay, the United Nations, who had given them the mandate, said, let's find a solution. And they came up with the Solomon solution. Let's cut the baby in half. Let's create a two-state solution. Part of the state goes to the Jews. Part of the state goes to the Arabs. The Jews said, thank you for a two-state solution. We'll take what you give us, and not including Jerusalem, and we will make a nation out of it. And the Arabs said no.
right.
And they said no to a two-state solution in 1937. They said no to a two-state solution in 1948 at the end of the War of Independence.
That's right.
Which basically created a Jewish state. And the other part of the two-state solution was in the hand of the Jordanians and the Egyptians. They could have created a Palestinian state if they wanted and created a two-state solution. They didn't.
That's right.
So nobody really wants a two-state solution.
That's right.
They had a chance for a two-state solution again and again and again. And the two-state solution is a Western invention. It is a Western solution. It is the Solomonic solution. Let's take the baby and cut it into half. And the minute we do that, the side that says, okay, we're willing to accept whatever happens, okay, is the side that is the real ruler. And again, the problem is the Palestinians don't want a two-state solution. Hamas does not want a two-state solution.
That's right.
The only ones who are saying two-state solution are the people in the West.
And this is the big problem, okay? The problem that we have here, and this is one that is consequential.
This is amazing.
Yeah, we're going to watch this in a second. Okay? This relates to a much bigger issue that we have, and that is so many people don't even understand the most basic of terminology. So many people don't even understand even the smallest of what's happening. And that's the bigger problem. How in the world do you explain to somebody what something like this looks like? I'm going to play something for you in Arabic. For those of you that can't see the translation here, I'll stop at certain points and I'll translate this. Because a lot of people, I saw a comment about, I don't remember who said it, but somebody said that there's a distinction between those that are Jewish and those that are Israeli. And they say that the Jewish believe in extra teachings above and beyond Scripture, while the true Israeli remains faithful to the Most High. It has nothing to do with the difference between a Jew and an Israeli.
I don't know how that tied together.
They make no sense. There is no. It relates to ethnicity, okay, and citizenship. Those are, you can be a Jew and Israeli at the same time, and you can also be an Arab and Israeli at the same time.
Let's meet one.
Well, we're going to meet one right now. This is a great, this, by the way, is, I very, very much enjoy watching this one I did. As a matter of fact, let me set this up. You want to explain a little bit about who this guy is? This guy's amazing.
Okay, so for those of you who do not know, 20% of the population in Israel, the 20% of the Israelis are Arab Muslims, and they live among us. They are citizens of the state of Israel, just among us. Among them are also definitions. I mean, some of them are Sunni Arabs, some of them are Bedouin. They're part of the Bedouin tribes that live in the south and other places. There are also Arab Christians that are citizens of the state of Israel. I know a couple of amazing pastors in some of the congregations. The young man that you're going to see here on the left has done a very good job on YouTube, basically saying, I'm Arab, I'm Muslim, I'm a Bedouin. By the way, the Bedouins were the ones who were massacring the Druze in Syria, okay? And I am a proud citizen of the state of Israel.
And the man questioning him, by the way, is a man that is born and raised in the UAE. 16 years ago, he decided to challenge the narrative that was given to him regarding Israel or Jews being evil people. This guy, by the time he was 17 years old,
interesting,
memorized the Quran from cover to cover.
Which is... Well,
116 books. From cover to cover, he had it memorized by the time he was 17 years old. Went out of his way to learn the Jewish Bible and the Christian Bible, and recognized that not only were the Jews completely the opposite of everything that he had been taught, but he recognized that the only way to make the Middle Eastern world better and the Arab world nicer is to encourage the love and respect of Jews. That's the guy wearing the little cap right now. Most of the time, by the way, when I see him, he's wearing, his traditional Saudi type gear.
Kafia.
Is very different, kind of a different one. But just keep in mind, he's wearing all of this right now because he's going and he's interviewing people, and he is a big, big friend. A big friend of Israel.
Oh, yeah.
His Arabic, by the way, it's, like the Saudi Arabic. It's beautiful.
Well,
it's easy to understand.
What's fascinating about this conversation that it's taking place in Arabic. I mean, I don't understand the Arabic enough, but it is
the translation is amazing. The translation is very, very good.
No, but I can hear some of the slang in them.
Yeah, that's right.
In between.
Oh, yeah.
They kind of,
Oh, yeah.
Sahar and
Sah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. And it's amazing because the guy who you said he's Bedouin?
He's Bedouin.
Yeah.
He's from
most Bedouins,
one of the Bedouin tribes.
Most Bedouins that I know or that I've met don't speak Arabic like he does. Not at his level.
Well, he's highly educated. I think
that's what it is. He actually worked in the Knesset.
Yeah, and he worked for that. A word about the Bedouin in Israel. They're very tribal. They're very, by the way, they hold on to their tribal ways, but they're Bedouin units in the Israeli army. Sure. There's actually a Bedouin, meaning a unit that all the people are Bedouin fighting in Gaza today.
There's also Bedouins that are very friendly towards the cause of Iran that are embedded in Syria, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And actually part of the problem that we've been dealing with what's going on in Syria. Yeah, which is very interesting. And we'll probably our next show dedicate to the issue of Turkey and Syria and what's about to happen there, especially with what's going on.
What a balagan.
Oh, my goodness. This ridiculousness with El Julani. But I'm going to help prove this point.
Go for it.
The man who is black is an Israeli. Okay?
A Muslim.
He's a Muslim.
He's an
Arab speaking. And by the way, it's interesting. You can hear his cursing. He's actually cursing in Arabic. The whole "I swear to Allah" phrase. Yeah. That's not a Christian slang. That's very, very Muslim slang. He's about as Muslim as they get.
Yep.
Okay. So this is why it's really interesting. Watch closely the translations here. If you need, I'll stop and I'll give you some of it as we go. As a matter of fact, if you want, Well, we'll just see. I think if you guys can't read the subtitles really well, then I'll just start translating it. Here we go.
عربي إسرائيلي مسلم بدوي.
صحيح.
كيف
صحيح.
دولة إسرائيل
Say again?
Sahi.
Yeah, sahi.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
So we would say sah, meaning in Egyptian Arabic, sahi. It's very, very, very much like what you would hear in Saudi Arabia, the UAE. You actually hear the sahi. You hear that more in Kuwait. Believe it or not.
But what Sahi means is, you're right. I hear you.
Like sah.
I hear you.
Yeah,
I
you're
hear
right.
you.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah,
got
that's
you.
right. Yeah,
Sah.
my dad would do that all the time. It was a very common part of our language. My dad would do it all the time.
اللي بيقولوا عنها apartheid بتعامل مواطن، أنت مواطن صح؟
أنا مواطن صح.
مواطن عربي مسلم إسرائيلي.
خلينا نبدأ أول شيء من الحقائق. أنا كمواطن إسرائيلي معي الجنسية الإسرائيلية، معي نحكيها بالعبري دركون والفيزا الإسرائيلية، جواز السفر.
Okay, hold on.
Darkon. Can you explain that to some people?
Darkon is the Hebrew word for passport.
Yeah.
So he is using Arabic, he's using English, but he says, I am an Israeli and I have a darkon, which is the Hebrew word for a passport.
But isn't that amazing that he's choosing to interchange his national identity with a Hebrew word instead of maintaining an Arab word?
Here's the thing.
That's a sign of loyalty and respect for Israel.
Exactly. He could have said, I have a passport, but his identity is Israeli, which means the document that he has is a darkon.
Yeah.
It's not just a passport, it is a passport that he received for being an Israeli. And that terminology has actually, how do you say, entered into the vocabulary.
Yeah.
And that's fascinating.
Well, and just wait. There's some other goodies coming here, but I was very moved, by the way, when you sent this to me. I actually sent him a letter. I hope I can get some kind of interaction with him, because he's really it seems to me like a wonderful man.
Hi, Dale.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
بتعطيني الإمكانية أول شيء إني أسافر في كل منطقة موجودة في العالم مفتوحة إلي. ثاني شيء ما في أي اختلاف من ناحية الحقوق، من ناحية الواجبات الموجودة إلي علي كمواطن عربي إسرائيلي بين مواطن يهودي إسرائيلي موجود في دولة إسرائيل.
It's a perfect translation, by the way. The translation cannot get any better than what you're reading.
But I love even me with this. Arabi Israeli.
Yeah.
Okay. And Yahud Israeli.
Yeah.
He's saying an Arab Israeli or a Jewish Israeli.
Yeah.
And the man is I'm not going to say a contradiction, because there are millions of Arab Israelis.
That's right. That's right.
And he represents them very well.
Yeah, and wait until you hear him talk about the Knesset. It's very interesting, guys. Take a listen to what he says.
يعني بأمانة يا تامر، لو أنت في منصب معين تبغى توصل له كمواطن إسرائيلي عربي.
So there was something that was missed here. He said, like if you wanted to, the word can be interchanged with like praying, like finding the freedom to be able to do what you want as an Arab who is from Israel, or Israeli Arab, or basically an Arab Muslim, which actually he's not even an Arab Muslim. I mean, he is, because where he's from, he's considered to be an Arab. But it is so interesting when you think about this. Look at this.
بمسلم طموح في دولة يهودية، هل في apartheid أو في نوع من أنواع العوائق؟
لا طبعا ما في ولا حاجز بيمنع مني أنا كمواطن عربي.
Now, طبعا, meaning when he said, of course, he's not saying, of course, there are barriers from Israel. He's saying, of course, there are barriers, but he's going to explain where the barriers come from.
Yeah.
Watch this.
عربي إسرائيلي إني أشتغل في أي منصب. على سبيل المثال لما كنت موجود في الجامعة خلال فترة التعليم للقب الأول، أنا اشتغلت في الكنيست في البرلمان الإسرائيلي. كنت بدخل كل أسبوع، كل يوم خميس واثنين على البرلمان الإسرائيلي، موجود في كل اللجنات، بلتقي مع كل السياسيين.
He says this. He says he used two terms here. He used the term Knesset,
Yep.
which is the name of our parliament.
And no Arab who hates Israel would ever acknowledge them as the Knesset.
But he also says the word parliament in English, the English word parliament. What I'm trying to say is this. There's no Arab word for parliament.
That's right.
There's no Arab word. No Arab nation has a parliament the way we have. I don't know if they use the English terminology. And again, this is a part of the dynamic of what we're talking about. Another thing I would like to add, he worked in the Knesset. One of the things that I always find fascinating is that I took a tour to the Knesset once, and we're walking around the Knesset, and they say the Knesset has a synagogue, and, they showed us the synagogue. And just next to the synagogue in the Knesset, there's a little mosque. There's a place that is actually called the Mosque of the Knesset. And, and you say, why is there a mosque in the Jewish Knesset in the state of Israel and Jerusalem? Because there are Arab Knesset members, and they have a right to pray in the Knesset when they're there regarding to their duties. And just to indicate what we actually see, and it's different from what the world says.
Yep, that's right. That's right. By the way, somebody asked a question about Israel, an Israel trip. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. You
Please.
guys. We're going to shock you. Everybody's going to find out. Big news, by the way, coming in a little while. Just hang on with us.
Let's get it going.
We're going to announce it. Okay, here we go.
لك انت مسلم واحنا دوله يهوديه.
ولا حدا قال لي لا
لا انا
مسلم.
بصراحه كان عندي هذه الفكره عن اسرائيل انها دوله ابارتايد بسبب قناه الجزيره وخرافاتها. طيب عندي
He's even ripping on Al Jazeera.
Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That he said, I heard that Israel was an apartheid country because of Al Jazeera, because of basically the way he's describing like the regular, like what we believe in the community. It's that crazy. But listen to what he goes on to say.
سؤال يا ثامر.
تفضل.
انت بصراحه بامانه هل توجه لك يعني لمز عنصري بسبب لونك او عرقك من الاسرائيليين بامانه؟
خليني احكيها بصراحه بما اننا وياك موجودين هون الحين وبنحكي بالعربي وبطلاقه خليها تقول.
So he says, let's just keep it real between us. And I'm going to speak, I'm going to articulate this very clearly in our language, in Arabic.
I like the way, though, he says this. You're also black, you're also Muslim, and you're also Arab.
Yeah.
I mean, didn't you get smacked around for any of those?
And by the way, there is such a thing as the N-word in Arabic.
Yeah.
And that's going to get introduced. Right now,
really?
he's going to talk about it. You may have missed it.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh, yeah. It's, you'll see it right now. We'll catch it. I don't remember if it was translated. Because when I first heard this, I just heard it in my ear. But he does use the N-word here.
Interesting.
You'll see it.
مع كل الاحترام أنا ولا مرة.
مع كل احترام, meaning like with the greatest of respect. So he's about to rip on the Arabs. Okay?
Really?
Yeah, watch.
واجهتني لافتة عنصرية من المجتمع الإسرائيلي أو من المجتمع اليهودي. لا بالعكس يعني دايما كنت أحس إني أنا مواطن موجود ومرغوب في دولة إسرائيل. للأسف العنصرية اللي لقيتها أجت مع كل الاحترام للوطن العربي أجت من عرب اللي بيحكوا عربي مثلي.
العرب يحكوا عربي, meaning, by the way, when he said اجتماعات, what he's a very respectful term. The community of Israelis basically have never dealt with me with any kind of racism. The Jewish community, that's what he's saying. Mm-hmm. Now he's beginning to get into the Arabs, which is complete. I mean, he's categorizing his own people.
Yep.
But look what he says. They address him. Look at how they address him. Look what he says.
بيتوجهوا لي بيطلعوا علي بيحكوا والله.
وتلاقيه في تويتر حاطط
he's cursing. It's not it's like he's swearing in the name of Allah. Okay? But look what he says.
آيات قرآنية على البايو وأحاديث نبوية في الأخير يقول لك
يا عبد يا زنجي
يا زنجي.
صحيح.
كلنا عبيد الله.
صحيح. يعني
that they are, because he is an N-word, he's a slave of Allah. Like meaning the original slave traders were Arab Muslims.
Yeah, totally.
Still are today.
By the way, still going on.
Yeah.
للأسف مع أني بالرغم أني أعتبر نفسي أنا عربي باللغة العربية أنا مسلم من هذا ديني ولكن العنصرية اللي لقيتها أجت من العرب حتى أنا اليوم موجود يعني مع الفيديوهات اللي بطلعهم أغلب التعليقات العنصرية بتيجي من مواطنين عرب
وحاطين آيات قرآنية
وآيات قرآنية وعلامة فلسطينية بتكون موجودة وبتيجي من عرب يعني أنا أحكيها بصراحة الإشي بيجرح في قلبي ليه
لا هو ما يجرحك انت تتجاهلهم وتعطيهم بلق بس لازم تعرف انه هذول الناس مرضى ربنا ما موفقهم لسبب وانا تشرفت اني اعرفك
تشرفت اني اتعرف فيك
نعيم مؤود ونتراي بك هون في مدينة اسرائيل
بإذرات الشين ان شاء الله
شكرا حبيبي.
He's basically referring to him as his own brother and even as a child of Israel. He's my brother.
And he says in Hebrew, both of them say Naim Meod.
Yeah.
Naim
Beautiful,
Meod.
beautiful
and
greeting.
we will meet in Israel, Be'ezrat Hashem. Both of them said Be'ezrat Hashem. Now, you know, he say Be'ezrat Hashem, Inshallah.
Yeah, that's how he responded.
Exactly. But he said
Which
it
is
in
beautiful.
Hebrew. He said it in Hebrew, and it's heartwarming.
So the Arab guy, the Arab guy says something in Hebrew, and then in Arabic, and then the other Arab guy responds in Hebrew, and then in Arabic. Like, how beautiful.
But we don't see enough of this, James.
But that's my point. The point is what we are looking at right here is something that's extraordinary, and it's very, very typical in Israel. If you saw an Israeli, or you saw any Jew, Arab, whatever, see this conversation, they don't think anything of it. This is normal.
I've had this. I sat on the border of Gaza, me as a company commander, in front of a Bedouin company commander that was as dark-skinned as this guy is, and we sat down and we drank coffee and we drank tea and we talked about how we cooperate and how we coordinate. I was really angry with him because he almost caused us to do a blue on blue event, and we were saved at the last moment. So I called him in and we sat down, and in the end we hugged, and this is the way. This is who we are.
Yep.
But you don't see that.
Yeah, this goes right back to my point. And my point is the angry, demonic world is going to view Israel the way they're going to view Israel. It doesn't matter what truth is on our side. It doesn't matter they're going to hate Israel no matter what. So my thing is, Bibi, just go.
No. I think we both agree on that at the situation we're right now. Let's talk about two-state solution. Let's explain what's going on.
Yeah, go ahead, Habibi. This is ugly, by the way. And by the way, Macron, what is he thinking?
By the way, have you seen what Candace has been doing lately about him?
Oh man, you know the only thing I hope happens. So Macron has now sued Candace Owens over defamation. Hopefully, they're going to go to discovery. Hopefully, his wife will take a blood test and prove that she's a woman. And then if that happens, then Candace Owens is through. But I don't know if that's going to happen.
If that doesn't happen, what would that mean about Macron and his wife
Macron
slapping
is
him?
done.
But here's the thing.
Macron has no hope.
All right, but here's the thing. He is going to lead the world in recognizing a Palestinian state.
I know.
He's going to be the first of the
Maybe
G7.
do you think he is married to a man?
Well, here's the thing.
You think it's a man?
Again, I want to say this. I want to make the connection. Why is it Macron? Why is it this is coming out? Why is that? And then his way to deal with the pressure on him, both inwardly by the Muslims inside and by what's happening with, you're married to a man, okay? The way for him to deal with it is to go out against Israel. And again, we're talking about the fact that the hatred of Israel, the anti-Israelism, and giving the Palestinians a prize, whether it is realistic or not, in the form of recognizing a Palestinian state, you're giving the terrorist a prize. And he is using that as a way to get out of his political predicament.
Yeah.
And again, we're going to see more and more. I'm telling you, the next elections, when's the cycle? 2028?
2026 for the midterms.
For the midterms and 2028 for the final?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this, okay? Hatred of Israel is going to be the deciding factor in the next election. Mark my words.
Oh, yeah.
The way Israel is treated and related to, okay, the people who say Israel's committing genocide are going to fight against or going to argue with the people who say Israel is not committing genocide. That's going to be the deciding factor. And here's the thing. I think that might be a problem because there's more hatred from Israel that's growing as we speak.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that the hatred of God's people, the hatred of Israel, the hatred of the Jews is becoming a political asset for people on that side of the political fence.
100%.
And that's going to be a growing problem.
It's going to be a bigger problem. One bigger than we probably ever thought. Thank you, Dale. You want to grab this? Thank you. Sorry, I had to have Dale bring this in so I don't break this.
Hi, Dale.
I don't break this earpiece. Yeah, it's a big problem. And again, my thinking is the Jews are going to continue to be hated. So you know what? It's time that just everybody, Israel needs to act in its own interest. Here's the thing that I think everybody forgets, okay? We need Israel more than Israel needs us.
Oh, yeah.
And that's, I don't understand why people don't see that.
Okay, again, what is Israel? And again, the way I say it, Israel's the flag. Israel is the flag that God waves in the world.
I agree.
And Israel is, okay, God says, but I keep my promises. I mean, and somebody says, wait a minute, how do we know? Says, look at Israel. I'm dealing with the world. How do we know? Look at Israel.
Yep.
Okay? If you listen to what I say and you bless Israel, you will be blessed. How do I know? Look at Israel. I mean, again and again and again, I can come and say, Israel, everything that's happening proves that God is still in the world. So if you want to disprove that God's in the world, all right, go against Israel.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a difficult issue for me to process with respect to why this continues to happen and why. And I know that the answer is very obvious. It's spiritual. I get it. It's the devil. I understand it, right? But where I have a difficult time with this is what's going on with people that claim to be believers. What in the world? This same show that I was telling you about, where they were going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
The host of the show even puts doubt on the fact that there will be another Jewish temple. And the way that he does this is he says, well, I'm looking it up in my Logos Bible software, and the Greek word could mean something else. Okay, first of all, you've got the presence of a definite article, the temple, number one. But number two, if you're a Jew and I come up to you, which you are, and I come up to you and I talk to you about, I just say temple. I don't even say the temple. I just say temple. Is there any temple that is outside of Yerushalayim that you think about? No.
But even the enemy says this. I mean, what did the Hamas call the 7th of October?
Yeah, of course. The Jabal al-Aqsa.
Okay.
Of course.
It's connected to the temple.
Of course.
And it all comes together. To kind of backtrack to where we're going. The idea of a two-state solution today is that between the river and the sea, there is a Palestinian state and a Jewish state living side by side. And the only problem that I have, well, no, I got a lot of problems with that, sorry. But one of the main problems is it's not doable. There's no way to actually do it.
I don't think people understand this, but when we say min mahr al-bahr, which, by the way, is a slang term, people call it colloquial, for lack of a better term, it literally calls for the destruction of all Jewish lives. Min mahr al-bahr does not talk about, from the river to the sea, does not refer to a place of freedom for Arabs. Because if you live within the confines of Israeli citizenship, you are free. Palestinians who live in Gaza have a choice. They can leave Gaza and they can live in Tel Aviv. They can go anywhere they want. It's not, every day they would leave Gaza and go work in every kibbutzes. They work everywhere.
And
my point is this. My point is, when we talk about from the river to the sea, min mahr al-bahr, what we're saying is, the statement is, we are calling for the death of all Jews. There's no other way to put it.
So you see in the podcast, you know, they talk to these protesters and they say, okay, where are the Jews going to go? And, you know, they say, go back to Europe, go back to this, go back to this. Another thing that I think people don't appreciate is that it's not, there's a line between the Arab areas and the Jewish areas. There's not a line between them. There's not a border between the Jewish areas and the Arab areas. It's all intermixed. And if you look at a map, for instance, of the West Bank, or what I would call Judea and Samaria, okay, one village is Jewish, one village is Arab. You cannot designate a line that will be the Palestinian state. There's no way to kind of make the separation. It's like, you know, you poured in the two different colors into the jar, and now they're mixing together. You're not going to be able to separate them. So whoever says two-state solution doesn't have any idea what's going on the ground. And that is the problem, I think, as much as anything else.
Yeah. Look, there is so much to say when it comes to this. There is so much to say.
So why is he throwing out the two-state solution? If he knows, okay, that it's not a realistic option. He knows that there's no Palestinian government that can step in. He knows that there's no place where the Palestinians can have a state that say they wave their own flag. If he knows it, what is he trying to do with the two-state solution?
The ultimate goal behind the discussion of the two-state solution on behalf of somebody like Macron is complete ignorance. He still is trying to become relevant where he has become uniquely irrelevant. He is trying to lay claim on what everybody considers to be the greatest prize of all peacemaking processes, and that is the Middle East.
And then what does Huckabee say? Remember what he said?
Yeah, we know what Huckabee says. But you know what? That's because the man is motivated by the scriptures.
Well, Huckabee says if Macron wants to create a Palestinian state, let him give a piece of the French Riviera to the Palestinians.
Yeah, and look, this is not difficult. But the reason why that it's continuing to be ignored. Dave, do you want more coffee?
No, I'm good.
Dale, thank you. The reason why it continues to be ignored is because there is a spiritual blindness tied to this. And it's terrible, but it's true. What did Brad say?
Brad's getting you. He says, you're getting in trouble. This time it's not my fault.
Hey, but you know what? Look, here can I say something? Let me just go back to the COVID, because we talked about COVID for just a quick second. Let's go back to that discussion for 1 second, okay? Do you know what's really interesting about Calvary Chapel Signal Hill? And some people are going to say, "Oh, James, you're bragging, whatever." But you know what? You just don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, and you can call this you can call it whatever you want. But you know what's really interesting about COVID? After COVID, there were a lot of people, bro, who were Christians that will never be able to say that their pastor is not scared of death. There's a lot of Christians that will now never be able to say that their pastor believes in what they preach, because they were so scared that they closed their doors, or so politically oriented that they were willing to ignore the truth of the scriptures. Coming out of COVID for me, my church will always know that I believe the things that I preach. They'll always know that. And you know what? I think the same thing applies for Israel.
Yep.
Look at the pastors around you right now.
Israel's becoming another COVID event.
If it is. If they fall into this place of just kind of, I don't know, and it's, you know what? They are not worthy to be in the ministry. Quit the ministry. Leave. Quit.
Just like a pastor cannot say, well, I understand that people have different opinions about abortion. And I don't want to say that I agree with this or that. Or somebody would say, well, I understand that some people say that there are more than two genders. And then the next thing he's going to say is, well, I understand that a lot of people believe Israel is committing genocide and Israel is not doing the right thing here. And I don't really want to take if you don't want to take a stance, then why are you supposed to be a spiritual leader?
Yeah.
And here's something that I don't really take a stance. Tell me you think that Israel's committing genocide, and then explain to me why. I mean, let's put it there, or don't take a stance. And that's something that I think that I'm missing in a lot of the churches today.
Yeah, and I just texted one of our moderators, and I asked them to pay attention to what's being said on Rumble, because there's a statement that got made. One guy is, I don't know if it's a guy or girl, but they're chatting a lot in here. And one thing that I like, there's a statement that I read. Let me read this, because I think I read it right. It says, cut the baby in half solution, understood a mother's heart, the heart which wants her child to live. Hamas has zero desire to let the child or the country live. That's such a great point.
Yep.
There's a lot of Jews that want to cut the baby in half. Shiloh Scott, thank you. There's a lot of Jews that want to cut the baby in half.
And what Hamas
Not Jews. Actually, Jews too.
But if you go back to the story of Solomon, this is Solomon trying to decide who is the real mother. Okay? and who is the one? And when the wrong mother said, "I'm okay with cutting the baby in half."
Yeah.
Okay, the one who is not the real connector to the baby, who's not really connected, where it says, "Okay, I'm willing to cut the baby in half."
But it's a great point, isn't it?
And again, here we are again, and this biblical lesson is going to have to be re-taught and re-accepted again and again.
I'm going to steal his phrase. I'm going to steal that phrase.
There you go.
I'm going to start telling people, stop trying to cut the baby in half. I mean, it's a kind of a harsh picture, but it's so biblical.
Okay, but here's the thing: Macron's going down that road,
Yeah,
and
Macron.
It looks like. By the way, it looks like
Macron.
the UK is going down that road.
Yeah, don't even. You know what? I think that look. Is it just safe to say that Europe is gone? Can we all just agree to that? That Europe is completely gone?
I don't know. Is it gone? I mean,
history gone. No hope for Europe. I'm sorry. I hate to say that. We have lots of people that watch us in Europe, but most of the people that watch us in Europe will probably agree.
Have they taken over?
Unless there is a functional and relational repudiation of the hand that Islam has on it, they're done.
Do you realize?
Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
It looks like the mayor of London and the mayor of New York are both going to be Muslims.
Yeah, and the mayor of London right now is not a good guy. Not even close.
So okay, so they say we will recognize the state of Palestine. What does that mean? I mean, what does that mean as far as
it means
international law? What does that mean as far as anything is concerned?
I guarantee you that the reason why Macron is doing that is for political purposes. He recognizes that the larger contingent of people that will affect him politically in France right now are Muslim.
Yep, I believe that.
So that's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make it that issue.
Okay, but what I'm trying to impress on people is this. This has nothing to do with what's going on the ground. It is somebody who does not live in your house saying your mother-in-law deserves to get the master bedroom. And they have no control of what happens in your house. They don't know what's going on in the house, and you don't even know your mother-in-law. But they will say that in order to make an issue, even though there's no reality on the ground that actually correlates to that statement.
That's right.
And I haven't found anything on the ground that means. Does that create a state? No, it doesn't create a Palestinian state. Does that define a border? No, that doesn't. The only thing that does is Macron coming out publicly and saying something that the Palestinians would like, but he's not doing anything.
Yeah, and Shiloh says that I guess apparently there's a little bit of an uprising going on right now in the UK. But like if you're in London, when you have a guy like the mayor, you're going to jail if you say anything like that. They're arresting people left and right in the UK who are speaking out against Islam. I mean, when your mayor is Sadiq, what are you gonna do?
But here's the thing: the majority comes up with an idea, and maybe I want to use the example, maybe COVID, or let's go back. Let's go back to the Black Lives Matter. Okay, it sweeps across Western civilization. Everybody's for that, and anybody who wants have wait a minute, anybody who wants to have any political weight in anything has to line up to the narrative. And again, what I keep on stressing is this. Truth is not the amount of people who have pressed a like. Truth is not the amount of followers you have. Everybody who reads the Bible, everybody who looks at the world through a biblical view understands that the majority does not define truth. The majority does not make what is real, and the majority does not define what is right, because we've seen more and more all over, and especially in this world that we live in today, that the majority can be a result of some kind of fad that sweeps through the world and has nothing to do with reality and nothing to do with biblical morality. And here's the thing. People believe that this is true because a lot of people have liked it. This video is right because a lot of people have pressed on like. I mean, that's not true. And we need to remember that the truth is defined by God's word and not by the political process that tries to push it forward.
That's right.
And we keep on forgetting this, I think. And even people are saying, oh, wait a minute. Of course, everybody says that the Palestinians should have a country. No, the Palestinians should not have a country, and not everybody says that.
Well, and nobody in the Middle East believes that.
Including the Palestinians.
Come on, give me a break. They want the destruction of the Jewish state. That's all they want.
The Muslims, I've actually said, I think we actually played Nia here once saying,
yeah,
I will never agree to a two-state solution, because if I agree to a two-state solution, I will actually proving to the world that the Jews deserve to have a state, and I'm not willing for the Jews to have a state.
I'll find it.
I think we talked about it once time. The Palestinians are saying a two-state solution goes against what we want, because my problem is not their problem. The Palestinian problem is not the existence of a Jewish state next to a Palestinian state. Is not the Palestinians having their own self-autonomy. They do not want the Jews to have a state. And a two-state solution will be them agreeing to the Jews having a state. That's why we will never reach a two-state solution, no matter what Macron says, no matter what anybody else says. And I think that's something that people have to realize.
Yeah, and the video that we're going to watch is a video of a man by the name of Ismail Haniyeh. If you don't know who he is, he's one of the last living leaders of Hamas. They haven't killed him yet, have they?
Him?
Yeah, they have not killed him yet.
I don't think so. I think he's still alive somewhere.
Yeah, I think they tried at one point. I don't think.
Well, the Mossad poisoned him and then gave him the antidote.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're correct. That's the story. By the way, I want to say this about this guy, or about this translation. The translation here is very, very good.
Okay.
The translation is very good. The Memory does some of the best translation work I've ever seen. Okay? So let's play this and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about here. Let's jump right into this.
إنه هذا المعركة 7 أكتوبر فتحت أفق لموضوع الرؤية السياسية، وهنا يعودون إلى بضاعتهم القديمة حل الدولتين. وهنا أقول مسألتين في حل الدولتين. المسألة الأولى، نحن لا نقبل حل الدولتين.
Okay, he's saying we have nothing to do with the two-state solution. We reject, look at this. We reject this notion.
Yeah.
This is the Palestinians. This is one of the founding fathers of the Hamas movement.
Yep, and he's actually going to end up he's Islamic Brotherhood, and he's going to end up basically saying, we have nothing to do with Israel. They're our enemy.
Yep.
Watch, you'll hear him say this. Watch. Oops, let me start this again.
طرح مرفوض. لأنه معناه أنك أنت لك دولة موعودة ومطلوب أنك أيضا تعترف بالدولة الأخرى اللي هي الكيان الصهيوني.
So what he's saying is, if we have a two-state solution, that means we have to recognize the legitimacy of the Zionist enterprise.
He says even if that creates a Palestinian state, he just now said it, then that means that we will have to recognize a Jewish state, and we cannot do that.
Which is why we completely reject the notion. Look what I'll continue to say.
تعترف بشرعيته. فهذه مرفوضة. نحن نطلب التحرر، تخلص من الاحتلال، ونريد استقلالنا ودولتنا. أنا غير هذا عدوي. أنا غير معني به.
Like meaning that we hate them. They're our enemies. We don't even care about them. They're not our concern. This is the kind of language, by the way, that you use when you want to refer to them as trash that you throw away.
Mm-hmm.
These are the Jews that he's talking about. Listen to what he goes on to say.
أنا
دولتنا اللي هي أي دولة؟
فلسطينية.
أي دولة فلسطينية؟
طبعا إحنا بالنسبة لموقف حماس وموقف الشعب الفلسطيني في أغلبيته العظمى.
Notice Palestine, meaning the whole of all of the Palestinians, we all feel the same way. We all feel the same way. Look what he goes on to say.
خاصة بعد 7 أكتوبر أظن تجدد الحلم والأمل. فلسطين من البحر إلى النهر.
من البحر إلى البحر, which normally we say la mahr la bahr, but he said it the other way. Meaning he said from the sea to the river, but same thing.
And
same thing.
It's been renewed.
Yeah, but watch what he says.
الشمال إلى الجنوب. وهذا حتى كما قلت لك أصبح شعار في الولايات المتحدة وفي العواصم الغربية وعند الجمهور الغربي الأمريكي والغربي.
الأمريكي والغربي, meaning all of the Western public are standing with us. The Westerner, and he's naming America, by the way.
الشعب فلسطين حرة من النهر إلى البحر. هذه شعار الطلاب الأمريكان.
Even the kids are saying from the river to the sea. Watch them. Even the kids are saying it.
وفي العواصم الأوروبية كذلك. مشروعنا الفلسطيني.
By the way, when he says even European cities, he means like the capitals, meaning the government is saying from the river to the sea.
This is what he's wanted. This is what Hamas has wanted from the beginning.
And that's the destructive part of all of this. And I don't think that people see it for what it is. They don't understand it.
We're giving them a prize.
Of course.
And that's the situation where we're in. And again, let's go back to the beginning of the conversation. We've been saying we don't want to do this because we don't want the world to give the Palestinians a prize for what's going on. But they're going to give the Palestinians a prize whether we do or don't.
1,000%.
It's going to happen. We're going to be ostracized. We're going to be ridiculed. We're going to be cursed. And the world's going to curse us. I just hope that the people who know that what happens when you curse the Jews.
And again, this just can't get any worse than it continues to be.
Well, again...
Well, maybe it can, actually.
Think about a version of, what's the name of Maldani in New York, who is raising to political power in the Democratic Party because he doesn't know anything. He's never held a job. He's got no experience. He's got nothing. The only thing that he has, hatred of the Jews and a socialist agenda. And he's going to run and become the darling of the Democrats and will be elected by the Democrats to be mayor of New York. Now, give me a version of that works on a national level. The Democrats are going to find somebody who does that well enough and good enough, and he will work on a national level, and we're going to see more of that as we go along.
And David, we have a bigger problem on our hands. And I want to explain this because this is something that actually Charlie Kirk does very well. He does a very good job at this. And that is the fact that you have a whole group of people, young people, that are very frustrated with the condition of the economy. Now, here's the problem. And I know this is going to be harsh when I say this. The condition of our young people in being unable to buy homes and do what they're doing.
Yeah.
Yes. The policy that has existed prior to the time of the Trump administration has been deeply, deeply damaging to kids being able to do this. But more consequentially, where the real damage came from the Biden regime was that the emphasis in education was in a place that it should not have been. We have a whole generation of kids that are financially illiterate. They don't know any real principles about investing. They don't know financial terms. Do you know that a kid right now, if he wants to buy a pizza, can go have it financed? And it's not regulated. You laugh, but it's true. And it's not regulated by the government. So they can go and finance a pizza at 25% and pay it over 4 payments.
Well, here's the thing. I think we have made a mistake, and I'm including myself in this too, of not preparing our children for the real world that they're going to live in. And I think I heard a statistic a little while ago that something like 70%, 75% of the young people under the age of 25 do not know how to change a tire on a car.
Bro, it's terrible. That's why I love guys like some of the guys that we work with, like Roger Wakefield, for example, who's a plumber who basically is getting people to be more aware of the trades. He has a massive YouTube channel. But this is why, for me personally, look, I'll show my audience can't see it because
By the way, if you want to make money in your life, go be a plumber. Go be an electrician.
Oh my goodness! I know plumbers that are making $500,000 a year.
No, what I'm trying to say is that if you want to send your children into a profession that'll give them security for the rest of their life, go be a plumber.
Don't send them to school. Don't send them to college. But you see, like David, see this? My 7-year-old is already learning how to read what I'm showing you right now.
Ooh,
I'm already teaching her how to do this.
Well. I don't know.
So she's learning how to read candles, stochastics. She's learning how to read charts.
Okay.
I've already started. We've already started on the discussion of the candles and what that all means. But there's a reason for that. I want my children to be financially literate and secure by the time they're in their teens. Why? Because I want my children to feel like they have the freedom to do whatever God calls them to do. And money not be the thing that holds them back. And right now we have, I lost track here. The reason why I'm bringing this up is because we have a growing population of kids who are getting frustrated at the fact that they can't buy a home and so on and so forth. And there's never been anybody to tell them that their disciplines are bad. And then to make things worse, you've got people saying Israel's the reason why you can't buy a home.
Oh. The Jews are to blame.
The Jews are to blame.
Oh, that's going to be the next one.
And no, it's what's currently happening.
Well, Kaddis is blaming.
We're spending money on Israel, and that money should go to spending, help us lower the interest rate, buy this, go do that. It's already the discussion, even though what we give to Israel is about $3.5 billion a year, which is nothing.
I keep on getting this. What has Israel ever given us? What has Israel ever done for us? You want me to make a list here?
What a forgive me for saying this. I don't mean to be harsh, but what a stupid question. Now, if you're sincere and you really don't know and you just want an answer, it's not a stupid question. But if you're imposing it as a function of a rhetorical mechanism, you're dumb. I'm sorry.
James.
Like you're nuts. But this is why Memdami's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because guys like Memdami are coming in and saying, I'm gonna own the grocery store. I'll give you groceries. You don't have to finance your pizza. I'll give you pizza. Don't worry about it. Free
transportation, free this. Again, and these are pipe dreams that are being sold.
You got a guy on the Pat Bet-David show who's a millionaire. I think he's a millionaire at least, and he still refuses to drive himself anywhere, and he doesn't own a home. Like, what?
Is Pat Ben-David gone down the rabbit hole yet?
No, I don't think so. He's experienced too much at the hand of Iran to hate Israel. I'm almost certain.
I'm getting worried that more and more people are. And again, don't get me wrong. There's Israelis who are saying it too. I heard somebody on Channel 2 on Israeli news the other day saying, well, we have to look at our moral obligation to the Palestinians.
Yeah, your moral obligation. You know what? Can I just say this? We have a moral obligation to the Palestinians, which is why we want to destroy Hamas, which is why we actually want to say, if you want to live nicely as a Palestinian, you can live as an Israeli citizen.
And again, Lord, just save my people. Just save my people. James, do we want to talk about October?
Yeah, or November.
November?
Yeah. So, not this November, but next November, we are going to do a trip to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
David and I will be hosting it together. It's going to be an extraordinary trip. That's all I can tell you. We are in the process right now of beginning the negotiation for getting you the best experience possible. Quick question for those of you listening to me. How many of you would go to Israel? Just put yes in the comments. We'd really like to know, because we are going to let you guys know within the next few months of the opportunity. I will make this confession to the Calvary Chapel Signal Hill people. We will give them the very first chance, and then we will give it to you. Now, I want to just simply say this, okay? This is going to be a world-class trip. We are not only going to tell you, look at all the yeses.
Yeah, I see.
We are not only going to tell you about it in plenty of time to be able to save up and do what you need to do, but if you've ever been to a prophecy conference and you've enjoyed it, we are going to be doing that in the hotels that we go to. We are going to have moments where we are going to gather together and we are going to teach you through Bible prophecy, and we are going to show you the land like you've never seen it before.
And there's going to be two things. First of all, I'm going to be there and kind of on the ground, kind of connecting all the geography. But I want to say something else. There's two things that I think a trip like this actually impacts, and a lot of people. I want you to think about this when you think about this kind of trip. One, when you go to Israel and you show the people of Israel that you are there, the next question is, why are you here? Your answer is going to be Jesus Christ, and this is opening doors more than anything ever. I've never seen anything like this.
We have people that are continuing to say yes. I mean, we're going to get hundreds of yeses, and we will give you the opportunity. We'll tell you what it's going to cost. We're going to tell you where you can sign up. We're going to help you plan for this trip, and we're going to put you. We're gonna make this a world-class trip. We're gonna put you in nice hotels, good food, great time. The buses will be nice. Everything. I'm gonna just say this right off the bat. I want everybody to understand this. This will be a more expensive trip. This will not be a bargain trip, but this will be filled with value. You will get a lot out of this trip. The other cool thing is, you will get to see my whole family, because my whole family will be on this trip, including my brother and his children, I believe. I think. I'm not sure. I'm speaking on their behalf. But
I want to add, though, something that I think is important. And me and James haven't talked about this yet, but I want to get to a point also where we find a place overlooking Gaza and pray.
We'll do it. We will
and
do
find
that.
a place overlooking Syria and pray. And find a place overlooking Lebanon and pray. And just be there in the spirit also, as much as we're there in the flesh and in the politics and the military, which all going to be connected, but just to pray and raise our spiritual voices, and just like prayers have been connected to the past, just the modern. Just let's pray for the people on both sides of each and every one of these borders, and I think that's fascinating.
Yeah, and I'm excited because I think this will be a massive trip. I think we're going to get to do some things that most groups will never be able to do, because by God's grace, because of my position and David's position, we will have access into things that you would never be able to have access into. And I'm very much looking forward to what we're going to do. And I think it's going to be just an outrageously fun trip.
So first of all, thank you, because I'm watching all the feed coming up here. And me and James have been talking about this. And the fact that we've got so many people saying yes is how do you say, a filling of our sails,
Yeah,
I would say.
It's a tremendous blessing. And I want everybody to know this too, because this is important. When we announce it, sign up right away, because this trip will fill. And I think I'm going to cap it. This will be a larger trip, but I think I'm going to cap it at the number that we have to cap it as for the size of the ballrooms in the hotels, or how we can book the hotels.
There's going to be a lot of elements, and we're going to have to talk about there's logistics, and I'm going to go back into being the operations officer for a tank battalion again.
It's going to be quite the trip. I think it's going to be fun. We're going to get to do all kinds of things. We are going to probably dedicate literally a whole half a day just at the Jordan River, because I assume we're going to be doing a lot of baptisms.
Yep. So yeah, I'm excited about this. Let's make this work.
It's going to be a great trip. We're going to show you a lot. We haven't decided if we're going to. I think it's going to be an all Israel trip, I don't think we're going to go visit any other countries. We may, I'm not sure, but I think it'll just be all Israel, just because we want you to spend a lot of time looking at a lot of biblical things. Yeah. And especially if this is your first or second, or you've done multiple trips, I can't announce other facts that I wish I could, but when I do, you're going to be mind-boggled. So I hope you guys are excited about it.
We're starting to work on it right now, and we're all excited about how this is going to work.
Yeah, and we're going to do our best to make sure you guys have a good, solid heads up about it. But I know that there are some people who ask about the safety. Look, I think it's safe enough where I'm bringing my wife and my children. That's got to make a statement about how I feel about the safety of Israel. Okay, so we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a fun flight. I would love it if we could book a whole plane. It'd be kind of cool. I think we probably could. I don't know. We'll see.
You're above my pay grade here. We'll have to wait and see.
But, I mean, I think we could. I mean, I think we would get enough people that would just be blown away. Like, I mean, have you ever heard of chartering a 747? We might. No. We might have enough people. Who knows?
Story about that one after. Do we need to read Super Chats?
David's been there and done that, by the way. I just want you to know.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm glad to hear that you guys are interested. You are going to have about a year and a half to prepare. We will announce it here shortly, okay? You're not going to want to miss this trip. And for those of you that are in Europe, by the way, we can make arrangements for you guys to come join us in Israel. We can waive portions of the costs that you would pay. So, for example, we would do what was called a land fee for those of you guys that can get there on your own. Maybe some of you that are in Europe, some of you that are watching for parts of the Middle East, you can come join us over there, and we'll work with you on the discount for that. There's a way. We'll teach you how to do all that.
And then you see us arguing literally on the ground in the Holy Land.
Yeah, it would be so cool. And I would love to see people like Bart Jun there, and some of you guys that are, could you imagine if Brad Brunn was on this trip? Or how about Dean? If Dean were on this trip, that would be nuts. I would love that.
What I'm saying is this. Just imagine me and you having these discussions overlooking the city of Jerusalem from the Mount of Olives.
I think we would have to have vets on this trip with us. Like, we'd have to have Michael with us. We'd have to have Dean with us. We'd have to have people breaking up the war.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
It's good. I cannot wait. I think it's going to be a great time, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so with that said, I'm glad that we see this immense interest. That just makes me super happy. I knew that would be the case. I knew people would be very excited about the possibility. And by the way, I haven't even talked about this yet, but we've got an app coming out very soon.
Oh,
the James Kaddis app. And there is a subscription level that if you participate, you will get a discount on the Israel trip.
Oh, there you go.
So there's a whole, there's a lot of stuff coming, including the Revelation book that's coming out.
That's overlapping balagan going on.
Lots of balagan. Lots of it. So we're very excited. Just pray for us, because the negotiating process has begun and will begin. And that's a process. But it's worth it. All of it's worth it, and we're very excited about it. Okay? Yeah. All right. Let me see here. Here we go. Boy, there's a lot of them here, David. Oof. There are a lot of them.
Really?
Well, let me see. Yeah, it's okay. So Brad is the first one, obviously. He says, Rashid Talib banged a pan outside of the Capitol saying, Palestine, this is for you. It was okay, but it needed... But it needed more cowbell. He's going to get me in trouble one of these days.
No, you know what I like? The ones who are saying that we're going to go on the hunger strike for the Palestinians, and I'm saying, oh, yeah.
I do think put the cowbell around Talib is a funny one.
So, great. UK just announced that they're going to recognize a Palestinian state.
It's ridiculous. I told you, bro, Europe is gone. I told you Europe is gone. The UK especially. The United Kingdom of nonsense. It's so sad. I feel so horrible for the wonderful people that watch us that live in the UK. I feel terrible.
Well, I'm worried about the United States going down that route.
Oh,
and we're seeing
I know.
More and more of that happening.
Okay, another one here. Brad Run. Last week, Kamala celebrated her 1-year anniversary of being the Democrat nominee in 2024. Noticeably absent was Doug, who was at a Coldplay concert with the nanny. It's so sad. It is rumored... I don't want to add to that because I'll get myself in trouble. It is rumored President Trump will not seek jail time for Hillary if found guilty in the Russiagate scandal because this is because he doesn't want to do anything to improve the life of Bill Clinton.
Do you think Kamala's going to run for governor here?
She already out. She's going to.
She's going to be our governor?
She's going to. No, she won't be our governor, but she's going to run.
Uh-oh.
I'll do everything in my power to make sure that devil doesn't become our governor. Okay, Mr. Red, you say it's that time of the year, James. The Rapture. Oh, you're so right. The Rapture date setters are coming out of the woods again with their YouTube videos saying it has to be this September. Man, you are so right, Mr. Red. We're going to make some videos on that one very soon. I might make one this week. I don't know, but thank you for that. We got good people in our audience. They see this stuff and they know. I love it. So very good, Mr. Red. Thank you.
By the way, I'm reading the comments now for the first time. So if you want to say something, I'm reading it right now.
David's watching them. Go ahead, make our day, Scooby-Doo. You say, greetings from Hershey, Pennsylvania. As Jan Markell often said, what did you expect the end times to look like? That's right, Jan. God bless her, and God bless you, bro. Thank you. Nikki Presley, Carbuncle, you say, thank you. Bless Israel. Vindog, you say, from the river to the sea, Israel will be free.
Amen, Vindog.
Bartjun, you say, I just heard Netanyahu reveal that the U.S. has officially permitted Israel to seize parts of Gaza. Thank you, Jesus. I didn't hear that.
Well, we're talking about holding on. Okay, so Israel is saying, by the way, in any case, the part of Gaza that Rafah sits on will not go back to anybody holding. Good. And here's the thing. But there are Palestinians living there that are now, for the first time ever since 1947, are free. They're living without the fear of the Hamas or without the fear of the Palestinians.
They're the beneficiaries of Israeli security, which is a very good. It's a very, very good place to be. And for that, I just say, thank you, Lord. And that's great news. That's not bad news. Okay, let's get to the next one. Badger Girl for God. This is a great verse. John 16:33. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world. That's so beautiful. Mm-hmm. Brad, you say, Brother James, you always say I get you in trouble. You told the story about your sister and another about your wife today. Today, it's on you.
Oh, yeah.
It's so true.
You're in a big balagan,
Oh,
James.
my goodness. Well, we'll just hope and pray that neither of them watched. Vindog, you say the European goose is cooked to the gills. That's true. And waiting on the Lord, you say, God bless you, Pastor James and Brother David. President Trump has a new favorite song that was written by the Beach Boys. It goes like, bomb, 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 Iran. I had to do the singing during that one.
Oh, yeah.
That's hilarious. And then two more that just came in. Badger Girl for God, you say we should do a raffle based on Rapture September videos for a ticket to Israel. We should probably do something like that.
That would be cool.
And then Diane Graham, thank you so much. You are amazing. Okay, we have time to take one or two questions. So David is going to be the one that's going to pick them. If you've got a question, put question in all caps. And then we will take that question. I think it's coming.
Yeah, well, it should be coming soon. So what's going to happen this week while we're waiting?
Bro, there's no telling. I think that Netanyahu has to get to the point where he's willing to ignore any of the key people that are ramrodding what he's doing, and I think he needs to take a run for those areas.
What do we do if Kamala does run? When is this going to happen?
I think Steve Hilton can beat her square.
Who's Steve Hilton, and what do we do?
We'll get to Steve Hilton in a little while. Right now, I have the honor of being able to spend some time talking through some things with him and Jack Hibbs. I really trust Jack's discernment. We're going to talk about Steve Hilton when the right time comes. I think he's well, there's a lot to say about that. But there are several people running for governor, and we're going to talk about why some of them are good running for governor, while some are not so good running for governor.
So,
okay.
Somebody did ask, I think it was Badger Girl for God, said, do you think that Israel will go all in and annex Gaza?
I think they have to.
I think we have no choice now.
Yeah.
And we're talking about that. Now, that's going to be mixed in with a lot of people. There are people in Israel that are going to say, oh, we want to rebuild the settlements in Israel. I don't think that's what Israel is going to do. But I do think that Israel will be going in, completely conquering Gaza, turning Gaza into some kind of military rule for a while. And the world's going to go crazy on us, and we're still going to do it.
Yeah, very good. David, this is a practical one, but the question is, are you going to do multiple tours if the response is that great? Yeah, we will.
Definitely.
We definitely will. Here's another question. How do you interpret Israel having unwalled villages in Ezekiel 38? We are not there yet, and the rapture is imminent. I think we won't be there until we annex Judea, Samaria. I think we won't be there. And I actually think Ezekiel 38 happens after the rapture, not before. And I can make a pretty good case of that based on Ezekiel 39.
Does the Lord want to do the rapture during the Feast of Trumpets is what I'm going to say that? I don't know.
Yeah, and anybody who says they do know isn't reading the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
Because when Jesus says he doesn't even know when the second coming is going to be, then how much more do we not know when the rapture is going to take place? So this is we don't know. So when you hear the date setters telling you, well, it's going to happen during the Feast of Trumpets, it's going to happen during the Feast of Tabernacles, it's going to happen when this, no, you don't know that. Don't listen to the people that tell you that. We just don't know. Now, is it likely that it could happen in correlation with one of those feasts? Very likely it could happen.
Totally.
But I'm not going to set a date because we just don't know. And Jesus said we don't know.
Why not do it during the holidays? I mean, it makes everything more fun.
Oh, man. Could you imagine if like Christmas Day hits us square in the face and then we get raptured?
So during the feast, there's a parade of supporters of Israel that walks down through the middle of the streets of Israel, of Jerusalem. And think about that whole parade disappearing in one moment.
Wouldn't that be wild? That would be wild. And then Vindog says, and tell the preterist to go to sleep. That's true. It's true. The partial and the full. I think actually those who take the full preterist view is demonic. I actually think the people that take the replacement theology view, I think that's a demonic doctrine.
Yeah, we're dealing with a lot of devils of the devil's tools lately, and this is something we're going to be dealing with more. It's mixing into our politics and our civilization.
Yep, I get it. We'll end with this question. This is a good question. This is for you, David. Explain what happens when the area is annexed, because some people don't really quite understand what that would look like.
Well, when we're talking about Gaza Strip and Judea and Samaria, they are in a special legal, I'm going to say, in betweenism.
Yeah, they call them zones, right? Aren't there like government zones, like Zone 3 and Zone we have?
Well,
these.
First of all, no. I mean, okay. So the state of Israel is the state of Israel. Israeli government, Israeli laws. Okay.
Yeah, well, right.
We annexed, for instance, the Golan Heights, which was conquered only in 1967, and we said we cover the Golan Heights with Israeli law. They are from now on a part of Israel, and
Right.
and by the way, in the middle of the Golan Heights is a community, a nice little town called Trump Heights. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah. Matter of fact, when I was in Israel with you, that's when they renamed it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that's during the same time that Shmulik's son was serving over there.
Yep. So again, very interesting. But what I'm trying to say is the Gaza Strip, for instance, even when Israel was there, we did not totally annex. We didn't turn it into a totally Israeli territory. It was basically an in-between where the military is the government until some other arrangement is made. And the Jewish communities in there are under Israel law, but the whole area has not been made into Israeli territory.
Okay.
The West Bank is the same. Judea and Samaria are the same. There are areas in Judea and Samaria that are totally Israeli territory. For instance, there's neighborhoods of Jerusalem that are across the the green line, that are part of Israel proper, Israeli law, Israeli government, Israeli taxes, Israeli police. There are areas in Judea and Samaria that are under complete Palestinian law. And they are Palestinian, just like the Vatican, for instance, is Catholic and not part of Italy. I don't know if you know, but there's a piece of Rome, literally a piece of Rome, where the Roman police, the police of Rome, and the Italian police do not have jurisdiction. It is jurisdiction, local jurisdiction of the Holy See or the Holy Catholic Organization. So there are parts, Ramallah included, Jericho included, Bethlehem included, are under Palestinian authority law. They collect the taxes. They are the government. That's why it looks so crummy and nobody wants to live there anymore. But that is that. And there are parts of Judea and Samaria that are under Israeli administration and under Palestinian municipality. And you have that in between. So we have those, but that would mean if Israel decides we annex Judea and Samaria, we turn Judea and Samaria to full-fledged Israeli law.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier there are these 3 zones. Well, really, there's technically 4. You have Area A, Area B, Area C. Area C is what they consider to be full Israeli control. Area A and B are Palestinian-controlled areas. These are areas like you just mentioned, Ramallah, Ramla, these areas. And then you have an area that was never considered part of Oslo or fell under Oslo, and that's the Gaza, the area of Gaza. I think that all of those areas have to become Israeli controlled before we begin to see this Ezekiel piece.
So again, there's other, how do you say, prophetic professionals that understand this much more than me. But I'm going to say this: I don't think we're going to have a choice. We will have to. It looks like we will have to annex the Gaza Strip.
Yeah,
return it under Israeli control. We gave, don't forget, 2005, we gave the Gaza Strip back to the Palestinians, and look what they've turned it into.
Oh, yeah.
And I think Israel's learned a lesson from that.
Yeah. It's going, just really quickly, going back to the Israel thing, and we'll close up. The one thing that you will love about what happens with the way David does it is you get the military perspective, which is very, very hard to understand on many levels. I would directly credit my easy understanding of this to David, because of what he's brought to the table.
Thank you. By the way, I've served in Gaza and on the border with Gaza many different times.
You've served in some of the most critical areas that any member of the IDF could serve in. You did it at a diplomatic level. Yep. You also did it all around Gaza. In my opinion, probably the most consequential area you served was northern Israel, southern Lebanon. That must have been
3.5 years in southern Lebanon.
My goodness, bro.
I was so cold.
In a tank.
It was so cold. James, it was so cold. I still remember walking out into the snow one time and only the antennas came out. My APC was under the snow.
I can't even believe that. I just can't even. That just to me is not fathomable.
Well, come on, snow that kind of 5 feet of snow, 6 feet of snow in places up in the mountains. Oh, it does happen.
I know, especially in the Middle East. It's such a weird thing to be able to even think of.
And here maybe I can't help. Every time I think about the snow in Lebanon, I think about the Syrian soldiers that were in their positions on the other side in front of us, that didn't have the equipment we had. They didn't care, and they would die after the blizzards. Literally, some of them would freeze to death in their foxholes. It was so sad.
People don't believe me when I say that the Middle East can get very cold. Because this happened, one of our last trips, I think it was maybe 15 years ago, David, one of the trips we did together, we told everybody because it was the summer. It was around the summertime. And we told everybody, make sure you pack jackets. Make sure you have some jackets. And they're like, no, we don't need it. It's hot over there right now. It's 100 degrees in Jerusalem. It's just, you're going to need it. So we get to the Golan Heights.
And everybody's freezing.
Losing their minds. Losing their mind. We told you guys. We told you. But anyway. Okay. David, any final words? Any?
It's going to be like I keep on saying this every week that we're here. It's going to be a critical week. It's going to be a critical week. We are in another critical week. And no, there's nobody starving the people in Gaza. I mean, there's huge amounts of aid that are going.
That picture that the New York Times and Haddis and many of these other liars put out, that is of a Yemeni kid who has a muscular disease.
Yeah.
It's just so
and he's
ridiculous.
He's being treated in Italy right now.
You know, they are dropping thousands and thousands of parachutes into cities in Gaza with massive boxes of food because Hamas is stealing it.
Why do we need parachutes? Why can't we just drive the trucks inside and give that to the people? Because Hamas wants the people to starve. And look what's happening.
They're taking the trucks.
And it's working because they're taking the trucks. The people are saying we're starving, and the world is buying into it, and the pressure on Israel is going worse and worse and worse.
$60 million that the United States gave again for food when in reality...
And Trump they did say thank you. Nobody said thank you.
Do you know that wasn't BB, it was John Spencer, I think, that said they are providing enough food for 3,000 calorie meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner for every Palestinian.
Again, the truth doesn't matter. The truth doesn't matter. That's satanic.
All right. Well, let's pray. Father, we thank you, Lord, for this time. We thank you for the opportunity we've had to discuss all these things, Lord. We give them all to you, Lord. We pray for your precious people, Israel. We pray, Lord, that you would continue to accomplish your purposes in and through them, Lord. And we just love you and acknowledge you, Lord, for your goodness and your faithfulness to us. Go before us now, Lord. Give the world a deeper understanding of what is true and what is not. We love you, and we just ask these things now in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right. We love you guys. God bless you. Keep fighting the good fight.